Hi everyone. It's been way over a year since we've done an informational YouTube video, and I apologize for that. I really miss doing it and engaging with you all. There's been a lot of things happening, and before I get started with this episode on Mexican silver part 2, I wanted to mention a brief FYI. I just celebrated my 70th birthday, and the gift that I'm giving myself is not working as hard as I have been. So that means I'm reducing my store hours. We're only going to be opened Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, regular hours, and by appointment only on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And with that in mind, I want to become more digital and eventually move out of this store and just do the website and appointments. So because of that, we have to have a big sale because I have a lot of inventory. And the sale is going to be ongoing. I have things as little as $15. One side of the store is $15 to $100. The other side is $125 to $250. So if you've been lusting over things and just couldn't justify the cost, now is the time to come down. I'll be adding things constantly. The sale starts on the 15th, and if you want to buy in volume, I will give you even more consideration of discounts, so get in touch with me. Upstairs is not included in the sale. But let's get started, because I'm really excited to share with you this new accumulation of beautiful Mexican silver pieces that I've acquired in the past, I guess, 5 years since we did the last video. First off, I recently purchased this beautiful set, the ring, the bracelet, the earrings, and the necklace, and I had no idea who made it because there's no signature. And after doing some research online, I believe it's by a designer named Federico Jimenez. He was born in Oaxaca, but if my information is correct, he currently lives in the Los Angeles area. He had a store in Venice for many, many years, has been quite a philanthropist in donating folk art and jewelry to museums. And I have to tell you, the quality of the work on this, it's sterling silver wire work that's filigree, and it's an heirloom piece. I'm just honored and thrilled to be owning this. If you love Mexican silver or are curious, there are some websites we will put at the end of this for you to check out. And really one of the best books around for researching hallmarks is this little book of Mexican silver trade and hallmarks. I use it. It's my Bible. I do want to tell you that I was lucky enough well over 20 years ago to try and search out some of the older Mexican pieces by going to Taxco. And for those of you that have not had that experience, I would highly recommend that as a vacation. You fly into Mexico City, you take a bus 4 hours to Taxco, which is this incredibly romantic mountain town, and the center of the town is a square, a zocalo, which is what they call it, and all around it are Mexican workshops that make and produce beautiful silverware. I was lucky enough to go at a time where it was still very picturesque. They had white VW bugs that were the mode of transportation. You could see them putting up the mountainside. It's beautiful. And I did meet a man who introduced me to a gentleman that had a store in up until about the 60s or 70s, and I was able to acquire some beautiful older pieces. Taxco was a large-scale mining town, and it became really important after the Mexican Revolution because a few really smart people like William Spratling and Fred Davis and Antonio Pineda brought back and revived silver jewelry in a way that it still exists to this very day. And it really created a whole new Mexican identity in that region of Mexico. I have on the table some masterpieces. In the corner, I have a selection of what I consider Matl masterpieces, and that's M-A-T-L. But she married one of the Castillo brothers, and when she got divorced, she started her own jewelry company. She was unique in all of the silversmiths in Taxco because She used stones with color, originally one of the first, and she also faceted her stones in a pyramid shape, which is very unique. And she's known for using iconic Mexican symbols like the doves and elements from inside cathedrals. I just love her pieces, and they're very much in high demand, and they're pretty expensive. Underneath her pieces, I have a few select pieces by another one of the master creators, Antonio Pineda. He had to be a master silversmith because he framed the stones in a way that if you didn't do it properly, you'd lose the stone. So obviously we'll have some photographs for you to take a look at. And then in this section, I have some pretty amazing William Spratling pieces. This necklace, to me, is one of my best pieces. And it has a different colored stones, turquoise and green stone inlaid, and it has the arrow motif. I got this Spratling piece recently. It's two hands wrapped around each other. I'd never seen this bracelet before in person, so I'm very excited about this. And then this incredibly heavy cuff, which is also Spratling, surrounded by amethysts. You know, one of the things that I like to do when I buy a piece is look at the craftsmanship. And if you see something that's solid silver and cast, you know that they're creating it in that way because it amps up the value because of the silver worth. But if you see a piece that has hollowness to it, that takes a tremendous amount of skill because they do repoussé work first and then they match the artwork that they've just created to a flat surface. In some cases, you don't, like in this Spratling iconic moon and sun, the solid aspect is not as much of a detraction. So the center section is all Hector Aguilar, and I'm really honored to have so many pieces of his in my collection. And, you know, when you think of the great masters of the revival of the silver period in Mexico, Hector Aguilar is one of them. He became acquainted with Spratling, and he and his wife settled in Taxco, I think in the 30s, and he became the manager of Spratling's business. But later on, he ended up buying a building and creating his own company. And at one point, he employed 300 people. So he was not only an amazing designer, but he's pretty prolific with his designs, and he had to hire all those people to pump out his pieces. You need to look at the quality of the work. This piece is heavy, and it's not a detriment because the borders are scrolled, the piece articulates, and the beauty of all of these pieces is when you put them on, they're comfortable. This is an unusual, I've not seen a lot of mixed metal, copper and sterling, Hector Aguilar. And then this beautiful onyx and sterling silver. But the articulation, I can't say enough good things about the workshops that were from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. This small grouping is Fred Davis, who's another very important designer who managed Spratling's business as well. He was an American who settled in Taxco and was influential actually in introducing Diego Rivera and other artists. He himself was an artist. These pieces are carved onyx with faces, and his pieces are very desirable and in the higher tier of pieces from Taxco at that time. So I love doing these videos because I find out things that I didn't know before in prepping for doing them. Margot De Taxco is this grouping here. She loved doing whimsical things, and I didn't realize that she was originally from San Francisco, and she took a vacation to Mexico in the 30s and discovered the jewelry and the beauty of Mexico and became a very important artist because she was one that really innovated enamel work. And there has to be technique of carving out in order to create the bed to put the glass that creates the enamel. It's champlavé, I believe, is the technique. And so I have only one example of her enamel work bracelets, but I have this fabulous dot necklace and bracelet and this whimsical clock, Roman numerals, with the AM PM bracelet and an hourglass brooch and an hourglass pendant. I wanted to include things that don't cost thousands of dollars because I think that kind of takes the fun out of collecting, and you need to start at a comfortable price point. And I have this grouping here of lesser known or less valuable pieces. I have things from that have a stamp of BR that I couldn't find any information on. But these two necklaces are absolutely gorgeous. There's one with the green turquoise lozenge that basically drops down from the silver setting. And then this incredible BR necklace which has faceted amethyst and it's serrated. The quality of work on this is fantastic. This bracelet is anonymous, but you can see that each segment of the bracelet is hand done and it's not cast. So, that's a lot of work. There's a designer named Enrique Ledesma, who is undervalued. These three pieces, this bracelet on its bracelet, which has almost a triangular point, is Ledesma, and then the bracelet and necklace, which has enamel, and I'm not sure if it's enamel or onyx inlay, but the quality once again is there. This gorgeous cuff with spiked silver and amethyst is anonymous. It's also very heavy. I believe it was not cast because I can see a difference in the tips. And other names that I have, I wanted to point out, I'm going to go over this way, that oftentimes when you have a big hit with a design, a lot of the outside workshops, which were called tailleurs, T-A-L-L-E-R, would replicate them. And there was no intellectual property infringement. And I brought two bracelets that are fish, and these are gorgeous, incredible works of art because they're hollow, which means the repoussé work had to create the scales, and then they had to create the base to solder it on. And this one has amethyst eyes, and is actually my favorite of the two, and does have a name attached to it, but not anything that I could find. And then these carved amethyst flower, which is something that you see Spratling, and also I believe Margot De Taxco did a similar version of this. But there are two different makers on this as well. But the pieces that I brought that are anonymous are Los Ballesteros, Ledesma, Villasana, and Balderas. But for me, it's not about the name, it's about the quality and the impact, the fashion impact that it makes. These are statement pieces. The only exception to the rule is Los Castillos. It's not on the mouth of a lot of people who collect Mexican silver, but they make beautiful work. There were four brothers that created Los Castillos, and their pieces are getting up in price. So you may want to look for that. Anyway, I just, I love these things, and I know that a lot of you love them as well. There's so much information on the web to explore and get better acquainted so that you feel comfortable with investing several $100s or several $1,000s in pieces. I can tell you these are heirloom pieces, so they will go up in value, obviously depending on the economy at the time. But yeah, I hope you have fun searching and wearing. So going to try and produce videos at least once a month. And if you have any suggestions, please let me know. We will continue our website. We are not going out of business. So if you want to support us by helping us lighten our load before the move, I look forward to seeing you in the store. Or if you want FaceTime video sales, happy to do that for you as well. So looking forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much. Bye.